The selection committee for the college football playoffs benefits significantly from the Golden Dome. Reasonable people questioned if Notre Dame's home defeat to a mediocre MAC team 2 months ago would exclude the Fighting Irish from the playoffs. Compared to a 2-loss SEC club with a more demanding schedule, how would the committee rank a 1-loss Notre Dame? We have our response, then. The committee forgives the Irish. They are ahead of 2-loss SEC teams with more complex schedules, at number 6 in the most recent college football playoff rankings. The 16-13 home defeat to Northern Illinois seems to have never occurred. How foolish of us to believe that the committee would take a harsh stance against the South Bend Glory lads. Come on, many of these committee members most likely saw Rudy landing Jesus' shoulders are broad. He raises a big object. After defeating a few weak ACC opponents, presto. The 9-1 Irish are rewarded with the coveted opportunity to host a first-round game in addition to being in a position to qualify for the playoffs. What precisely is it based on? Michigan's athletic director and chairman of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Ward Manuel, said, "The Irish have really performed very well since that loss. Riley Leonard is now fully himself. He is a very dynamic runner. Their first-round victory against Texas A&M was fantastic. We've been pleased by Notre Dame's recovery from the home defeat to NIU because of their impressive performance against Navy, who is up and down, this week's playoff rankings winners and losers. Why the SEC is supporting Ohio State over Indiana, according to Big Buckeyes fans. Host, but put Notre Dame in the CFP bracket? Too much. Look, all of Manuel's statements are accurate. Notre Dame bounced back from the defeat quickly and successfully. Leonard settled in during his first season with a new team, and the Irish defense is formidable. I don't mind Notre Dame playing in the playoffs, but it's excessive to give the Irish a home game in the first round after they lost to Northern Illinois and had a soft schedule. Think about it. No other club in the accurate playoff picture fell to a group of 5 team. The Irish are ranked ahead of the Tide because they have one less defeat due to a much easier schedule. But Alabama's loss at Vanderbilt is not the same as losing at home to NIU. All of the playoff contending Power 4 teams have booked at least 9 Power 4 opponents, and Notre Dame has 8 games planned. There will only be 3 actual away games for the Irish. One of those occurred against Purdue, which is 1-9. Notre Dame will play more road games than any other team in the playoffs. Must I continue? All right, I will. Notre Dame's 7 Power 4 opponents have an aggregate record of 30-40. The Irish deserve credit for defeating weak and mediocre opponents. Although Notre Dame's road victory against Texas A&M is its high point, the question is not whether or not the Aggies should be defeated. Naturally, Texas A&M should be lower in the hierarchy than the Irish. The question is not whether Notre Dame should be admitted, but rather whether the Irish should be able to host after a decisive road victory to start the season. Despite having a worse schedule than every other SEC school in playoff contention, the Irish are rated higher than teams like Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. How far up in the CFP seeding can Notre Dame go? If the playoffs began today, Notre Dame would host the number 9 seed and be seeded number 8, but Ohio State and Indiana would play each other, so at least one team rated higher than it would lose. Notre Dame won't take the chance of losing in a conference championship game against teams rated higher than the Irish. Talk to any coach if you believe I should be more concerned about whether a team is seeded high enough to host a first-round match rather than having to travel. They will tell you that seeding is essential, because they guarantee that you will play every playoff game at home or a neutral location. The number 5 through 8 seeds are highly sought-after slots. The Irish may move up to the 5th seed on playoff selection day and host the poorest team in the playoffs, all while suffering the most humiliating defeat of any team in the tournament and putting their resumes on display. Given that Notre Dame can only get a number 5 seed, It is quite the reward. Conference winners will get the top 4 seeding. This may resolve itself in the field, so let's take a moment to express that. 2 of the Irish's most complex challenges are yet to come, at Southern California and against the unbeaten Army. If Notre Dame loses, the Irish won't be in the playoffs. Therefore, we won't discuss whether they should host in the first round. Tennessee would earn a postseason berth with a defeat over Ireland. The Irish will have it easy if they win these next 2 games. On conference championship weekend, they may relax, watch a movie, and spruce up those golden domes that overcame the selection committee.